If you're going to hunt the early season, at some point you're going to have to deal with the heat, and it's going to affect the way you hunt. Here are some things to consider when the hunting gets hot. First off, let's look at deer movement, or actually the lack of deer movement. Early in the season, deer are still in their summer patterns, feeding mostly at night when it's cooler. And that means you're going to have short windows of opportunity when they're up and on their feet during daylight hours. In recent years, I've hunted the early bow season in Kentucky and the early muzzleloader season in Kansas. Both times it was early September, hot. We're talking 95 degrees during the day, and believe me, we had to make some adjustments to our hunting to adjust for those conditions. Early season typically means setting up on food sources, which means hunting only afternoons because all you're going to do is spook deer trying to get into your stand in the morning. That means you have an effective window of opportunity of only 2 or 3 hours a day. Think about that for a minute. During a 5-day hunt, you might hunt only a total of 10 or 15 hours. If you're going to hunt during the morning, you're going to have to find those funnel areas between food sources and bedding areas and get up early. You can also set up near water sources. This is key because deer that have been bedded in the heat all day will often head to water before feeding. But be mindful that deer might be bedded near these water sources and you risk bumping them on the way to your stand. Try to locate water sources away from bedding and feeding areas where you might be able to ambush deer that are coming and going. Next, you want to consider your wardrobe. When most people consider undergarments and dressing in layers to control body temperature and perspiration, they're usually thinking cold thoughts. But many of the same clothing principles that keep hunters dry and warm in frigid weather apply when dressing for warm conditions. Begin with loose-fitting camo undergarments as part of a layering process, and then add a shirt and a light jacket. That way you can strip down and still have a camo outer garment as the day heats up. Get out there early and take your time getting to stand. Play the wind, because no matter what you do, scent control is going to be a huge issue. Obviously, you're going to perspire more when it's warm, and masking human odor can be more of a challenge. You need to make sure the scent isn't drifting into feeding and bedding areas when you're in your stand or walking to and from your stand. Leave yourself plenty of time and take it slow so you don't work up a sweat. You might even consider having a change of clothes for when you get to your stand. You can always add more layers of clothing once you are in your tree stand or ground blind. Wash your clothes in a scent-killing detergent and spray down everything you take to the woods with scent-killing spray as a last line of defense. Just like hunting in cold conditions, during warm conditions, you need to put some forethought in regard to deer movement patterns and staying comfortable and scent-free on stand. That's the only way you're going to be able to deal with this heat and take advantage of that short opportunity, that just short little window of opportunity that might present itself. If you're like me, you love hunting the early season. And if you're like me, you hate ticks and other blood-sucking insects. And you know you need to take preventative measures to keep from getting bitten by these disease-carrying vermin. One of the best ways to keep ticks off of you is to wear preventative clothing, such as a Limit-Tick from Game Hide. Here's some things you should know about Limit-Tick and why it's so effective against ticks and other biting insects. Number 1, a Limit-Tick uses Scent Shield technology, and the active ingredient is tightly bonded to the fabric fibers. This means the repellent lasts in the clothing for up to 70 washes, the life expectancy of the garment. That's several years of use for even the most avid hunters. Number 2, ticks absolutely hate it, and they'll do anything to get away from it. Number 3, and here's a biggie, especially for bow hunters, a Limit-Tick is odorless and will not alarm deer. And number 4, a Limit-Tick not only repels ticks, it repels chiggers, mosquitoes, flies, and no-see-ums. That's important, especially for early season bow hunting or for when you're out there scouting and putting up stands during late spring or early summer. And finally, a Limit-Tick clothing is easy to care for. Treat it like you would any other hunting garment and you're set to go. Ticks carry a lot of diseases that, believe me, you want no part of, including Lyme's disease. Why not suit up with a Limit-Tick this fall and keep those biting insects at bay? For more information, visit GameHide.com.